Morning, everybody. Welcome to KR Choksi Samvad. Last week, we witnessed that the Sensex retained psychological level of 28,000. During these last 2 weeks, mid cap and small caps indices outperformed in the market. On the global front, US Federal Reserve meeting showed that policymakers are not uh, in mood of hiking the rate in near term. Sector specific SBI, sector specific banks moved very positively. Specifically, SBI moved 10% up post result and the merger announcement. We are going to also discuss the same in detail. Um, Market to remain in next fortnight, market to remain very volatile, considering a near month FNO expiry. Uh, Post that, we will be also discussing the outlook ahead of the quarter one results. So now I would hand over to my team, my research team, for the updates on the stock specific as well as the sector specific. Thank you.
Hello and good morning, everybody. I'm Ankit Merchant. I'll be covering the automobiles and auto ancillaries as a sector, and also I'll be looking at certain mid-cap companies. Over the over the last 1 month, we have seen quite a lot of automobile companies reporting their numbers, and quite a lot of automobiles have companies have also gone up substantially. As such, many companies are trading at a very good valuations, which is decent enough, I think, looking at the prospects, basically driven by the seventh pay commission implementation of ORB, and due to good monsoons. In this particular segment, as in automobiles, we have seen Maruti almost crossing like 5,000. Tata Motors is doing well. M&M came out with good numbers. All the stocks are pretty at a very good valuation. So coming to one company which we have liked, and we have also initiated the coverage is already there, but we have come out with a company update. I like Bajaj Auto. Bajaj Auto, we just recently came out with the report. Bajaj Auto, as such, we have seen there is the volume growth for the particular month, that was July month. They that was near about only 1%, and over the last 2 to 3 years, the company has been facing over the last company over the 2 to 3 years, the company has been facing issues in volumes, and their export is also dampened by the countries like Nigeria and Egypt because of the political uncertainty which is going around, and as well as the global uncertainty in the economic conditions, which has pushed this economies into trouble, and they are not able to do the numbers which they used to do in the previous years. So coming to Bajaj Auto and towards the domestic segment has been gaining traction over the last 2 to 3 months. That's on the back of good launches which they have done. One launch is the Bajaj V, that is V16, which is based on the INS Vikrant, and over the last 4 months they have done numbers of like 1 lakh. They have already crossed it. This particular V is into commuter segment, price ranging between 70,000 to 65,000 to going up to 85,000. And this is where the Bajaj had failed over the last 2 to 3 years. Basically, they had discovered didn't pick up well, and Pulsar had also was facing issues. So this segment is moving well. Avenger, the new updated model, is doing quite well. They are doing numbers of 25,000 a month. So this all things is actually giving the traction that going forward, the second half of the Bajaj Financial, Bajaj Auto will be well, and with the monsoon picking up. and with rural income coming in, I think Bajaj Auto stands at a very good valuation as well, and it would be a very good pick. Uh, the company recently also held their annual general meeting. So in the annual general meeting, the management laid out five pointers or the five strategies for the next decade. As we know, Bajaj has been a market leader, or they are the first mover coming to the sports segment bikes. They were the first manufacturers to come out with 150cc engine bikes in India, and Bajaj Pulsar covered the market substantially. They still command a very good market share coming in the sports segment. So management knows this quality of their bikes, and they know the penetration has been really very good on that segment. Henceforth, on the first strategy, on the first point as well, they will be concentrating more on the sports, super sports bikes. Basically, these bikes are more which contains a CC of more than around 200cc. It's more above than 200cc goes up till 400cc bikes in the Pulsar segment. So this is one of the strategy which company is looking forward, and with the help of KTM, they will be building new machines with higher CC engines. As we know that whenever a commuter changes his bike, I mean the first buyer obviously buys the bike between the CC of between 100cc to 125cc, and once they start using the bikes, the need for higher CC goes on, and with the infrastructure building up, higher CC bikes are much more in demand, driven by the youth as well. So this is one particular segment which Bajaj is concentrating. Coming towards the second segment, that is commuter segment or the economy segment. As we know that Bajaj Discover was not doing well in the last 2 to 3 years. They were completely losing the market share thanks to Honda, and as well as the Hero Motorcorp. They did quite well, and on the back of Bajaj Auto, because they were not able to come out with good Discover bikes which didn't fancy the customers. So with newer ranges coming in V segment, and with Discover this Avengers, they are able to do well in that particular segment, which has been reflected in their market share as well. Currently, they're having a market share of approximately 18% in commuter segment, which I think is very good compared to their numbers which they were doing. So this particular segment, I believe, doesn't have any as such a player as well, because we particularly caters to some patriotic level, and it has a very high patriotic quotient towards the Indian consumers, and that is the reason the numbers have been picking up. And coming towards the Avenger, I think it's a very brilliant idea, coming up with cruiser bike provide in the range of between 75,000 to 85,000. I think there's no other player in the market currently who's offering this in between this price range, this particular biking experience. There's Royal Enfield, which again starts from 1.25, and as we know, there have been long waiting periods for Royal Enfield. And the person who requires this cruiser bike experience will definitely look at Bajaj's Avenger, and I think Avenger has been there since last many years, and it also has very good fancy compared to the cruiser bike segment. Coming towards their KTM segment, KTM has been as they are expanding their KTM presence all across the globe right now. Recently, they tied up with. They are planning to enter into Indonesia. The management clearly focuses more on the Asian market, that is Southeast Asian nations. Basically, these nations have similar per capita income, and the growth, which is according. I mean, the Asian market has been growing well. The income level is rising, and also their pricing also fits appropriately for this particular market, providing good biking experience. And KTM as a brand has been is very well known in that particular region as well. So these were the three basically strategies. Coming towards the fourth one, they're coming towards the fourth is basically this pro biking. Pro biking is basically those sort of bikes which have higher CC, but these are utilized by like pro bikers which have very high biking passion. They go out and do rallies as such and all. So this segment in India is a growing segment, considering the youth in India is very it's very aspirational to do some biking, pro biking, which is it's a very new concept in India, and it is gaining quite a good number of exposure and getting good eyes for it. So this is another one. And coming towards the fifth, the management clearly says that they don't want to venture into scooter segment. The scooter segment, out of the 11 lakh units per month, which has been sold two-wheelers, 7 lakh units are motorcycles and 4 lakh is uh, scooters. So for the 4 lakh units, there are already many players who are fighting for the market share. Honda is the largest, and they are able to do a margin of around 12%. All other players are not able to do EBITDA margin, not able to do EBITDA margin more than 8 to 10%. So Bajaj is very clear with their opinions that they won't venture uh, into scooters, and they will be running for the larger market, that is 7 lakh per unit, and try to gain market share over there, which is a very good strategy. Coming towards their financials, I think the financials are on up move. The commodity prices have been very helpful for them, and the EBITDA margins have shown improvement. They are doing 21 plus percent of EBITDA margins going forward. We think this EBITDA margins will continue, and with the volume coming up, we could see uh, a good upside in the stock. Over our DCF valuation, the stock valuation comes to around 3,200, and with the P valuation providing a 17x multiple to the for the FY19 earnings of 198, the stock price comes to 3,300, 3,337. So with a 50-50 weightage to DCF and P, I think the stock can easily come to 3,300 between and can trade between 3,200 to 3,300. And I think that is the reason the stock is also moving, and we have an accumulate rating over the stock with a target price of 3,317. That's it from my side. Thank you.
Good morning, friend. My name is Shweta. I'm going to speak about MB Industries Limited, that is EIL. MB Industries Limited is one of the established brand in the field of woven polythene and polypropylene product, and promoted by first generation entrepreneur Mr. Makran Appalwar and Mrs. Rinku Appalwar, and was specialized in established in November 1994. The company is engaged in manufacturing and sale of 4 specialized products. EIL had a strong revenue product with sale increasing at CAGR of 21.6% in FY12 to FY15, with better capacity, setting up facility, increasing value addition product and product demand across the entire segment. We expect company to maintain a revenue growth of 23.5% CAGR in FY16 to FY18 estimate. It has domestic revenue of around 51% and export around 49% from 52 countries. It is expecting to expand its product line in another 12 countries. We are expecting an EBITDA margin of 12.3% in FY16 to 13.5% in FY18 estimate. EIL categories into 4 main segments. That first one is specialty packaging, advanced composite, water conservation, and agri product. Its contribution from sale in FY16 was 38% from specialty, 44% from advanced composite, 15% from water conservation, and 3% from agri product. MB is continuously focusing on increasing share of high margin value-added product in water and agri segment. In FY18 estimate, expected contribution from the segment are 43% from advanced, 32% from specialty packaging, 20% from water conservation, and 5% from agri product. EIL capacity is around 18,200 ton, and it is expanding additional capacity of 6,000 ton with rupees 220 million of capex. Capex of INR 150 million for setup for manufacturing of food and pharmaceutical grade FIBC packaging material at their Silvassa plant. It will help to produce product for export markets, especially in USA. Capex of INR 70 million for expanding its footprint in water conservation by increasing its capacity to 3,600 ton. EIL follow less than 1% in production wastages. MB is the only company which present across all the 4 growing segments. It is the first company to introduce flexible water tank. that is patent registered, which has been gaining huge success in the domestic market, particularly in Maharashtra. With better capacity utilization, improving working capital, and growing segment will help MB to deliver growth across domestic and export segment with its diversified product mix. At current market price of INR 119, we have a buy rating on the stock and value the stock at 12x PE. FY17 estimate of INR 14.11 with a target price of INR 169 respectively, which give an upside of 42%. Thank you from my side. I am passing to Mayank.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Mayank, and I will be covering IT for KR Choksi. Recently, Infibeam Incorporation released their results last week, so I have an update regarding that. So just to give you a brief background, Infibeam, around 70% of the top line is contributed from the products business, which is Infibeam.com, which is an e-commerce platform. And the second business is the services business, on which they run the buildabazaar.com, where they enable website creation and followed by other value-added services. Typically, they target online and store. So, 17, the company reported a top line of 103 crores. 70% of that was contributed by the products business. So around 70 crores was contributed by the products business, which is Infibeam.com, and around 32 crores was contributed by the services business, which is buildabazaar.com. The product business reported an increase of 42% quarter on quarter, and the services business reported a growth of 18% quarter on quarter. The blended EBITDA margin was around 18% for this quarter. Sorry, the correction, there was a 12.3% blended EBITDA margin versus an EBITDA margin of 8.7% last quarter. And the net profit margin was around 9.6% versus 2.6% previous quarter. What was interesting was the revenue per merchant as well as the revenue per user. So what we've done is divided the products and services business into revenue per user and revenue per merchant. The merchants is in the services business and the users are in the products business. So the revenue per merchant in the services business was recorded at 5,597 rupees per user per quarter. Versus 5,100 rupees per quarter, which was a 9.7% increase. And the revenue per user for Infibeam.com was recorded at 87 rupees versus 59 rupees, which was a drastic 45% increase quarter on quarter. Apart from that, the latest developments in Q1 FY17, which were released by the company, were they have signed an agreement with the world's largest milk producer, that is Gujarat Cooperative Milk Marketing Federation, which is also known as Amul, for developing an online and mobile framework. They have also signed a foreign deal with Saudi Telecom Company, which is on buildabazaar.com again, and they have also invested in a payment solution company which is called CC Avenue. This is in line with what they had promised during their IPO. Apart from that, what impresses us about the company is that they are providing a lot of value-added services which other competitors or peers are not currently offering or have different vendors for the same. Such services are logistic services, payment solution services, digital advertising, cloud infrastructure for merchants. So it's a one-stop solution for any merchant or vendor, as opposed to a company where a user or a merchant has to go to various points of contact for their services. Apart from that, other rationales such as macroeconomic drivers also support the growth of this company. Points like growth in retail segment, which is roughly around 50% of private consumption in India. So the total GDP as of FY15 of India is $2.1 trillion. 57% of that GDP is in private consumption, and 50% of that private consumption is in the retail segment. Now, currently, the retail segment accounts for around $545 billion annually, spent annually, and that is expected to grow to around $2,065 billion by 2020. Apart from that, there are other drivers such as urban penetration and rural penetration, increase in internet access, increase in mobile access. So typically purchases through mobile accounts for 60% of entire online purchases. And we expect that increase in smartphone penetration and internet access will also support the growth of this industry, which in turn should promote growth of incumbents in this industry. And Infibeam, being one of the only listed players in the e-commerce space, demands a high valuation and justifies it as well. Currently, it is at EV to sales of around 12.7. But being the only player in the e-commerce space, we believe it's justified, and we are very strong. We believe that we have very strong prospects about this company. Currently, we have a hold rating, and that's about it from my side. I'll hand over the mic to Shweta.
Thank you, Mayank. Just on Thursday last week, the big merger happened. So State Bank of India came out with a swap ratio of merging of SBBJ, SBT, and SBM. The other two associates, that is the SBH and SBP, are already under the 100% shareholding of State Bank of India. This behemoth merger which has happened is actually will turn out to be into one of the largest banks in the country, with almost 37 lakh crore of asset base, branch network of 25,000 and 58,000 ATMs. So this may be more than 5 times of the country's second largest bank, that is ICICI Bank. But let's come to the details of the merger. Now, SBI or State Bank of India should issue almost 28, 22, and 22 equity shares of 1 rupee each for every 10 shares of SBBJ, SBM, and SBT. Overall, considering this particular swap ratio, the equity dilution of the parent bank, that is State Bank of India, will be somewhere around 1.8%, which is not very steep. So post the announcement of the merger, there are a couple of hurdles in the way of State Bank of India. One, we saw in Q1 FY17, the performance of associate banks was little poor, especially on the asset quality front. However, we believe Q2 FY17, Q2 FY17 will also show a little poor performance on the associate banks front, especially on the provisioning front and on the asset quality front. However, going forward, Q3 FY17 onwards, that will be the quarter wherein State Bank of India will be coming out with a merged entity number
Hello, hello, hello.
Sorry for the interruptions due to technical errors. Um, so what are the long-term benefits of this particular merger? One is there will be little bit of challenges on the cost front, but State Bank of India has already come out with a 30 billion rupees, 30 billion number which they'll incur on the employee cost front. There will be certain higher provisions in terms of employee benefits. Remember last time during the merger update, I had mentioned that associate banks do not have as many employee benefits as the parent bank. So there will be little additional cost on the employee provisioning front. Overall, we branch rationalization benefits which will flow through post the synergy. Major work as far as the merger is concerned is almost over. Treasury operations, audit, technology have already been synced into the parent bank. So in the short term, while the cost income ratio looks little higher, over the longer period, we believe cost income benefits will rationalize and State Bank of India will actually benefit from the synergy which they are going to incur. I mean, the cost which they're going to incur today are going to give benefits later on, especially 1 year down the line. High net worth, the post merger State Bank of India will be a high net worth bank and one of the biggest bank which will be lending to the corporate India. A strong branch network, which I mentioned the numbers in the beginning. The brand itself, that is the SBI brand, will help increase the retail presence and especially will be useful in the SME business rollover. Liability franchise of State Bank of India with one of the highest CASA ratios will strengthen further. Yes, there will be a tad negative impact on the pension liability pension provisions front. However, because the policies have already been integrated and there will be harmonization across the organization, and also the fact that the core equity capital of State Bank of India at around 9.5% plus remains on the higher side. We believe FY17 end will be the time when the entire bank will be seeing the benefits flowing through from the merger. Integration of 70,000 employees under one roof is little challenging. However, this given the size and reach of the bank, I believe most of the work is already being done. So SBI thereafter will have almost 24% plus market share in the system. And going forward, we do not believe it will go for any other acquisition or consolidation. They have already acquired Bhartiya Mahila Bank. So Bhartiya Mahila Bank operations are very small, very tiny. Loans of almost rupees 10 billion, net worth of 10 billion plus. So any integration challenges on merging Bhartiya Mahila Bank is very minuscule. Integration cost and dilution benefit of the entire merger is not very meaningful. So as on a consolidated entity, State Bank of India for us continues to remain by the since the merger benefits will only flow through 1 year down the line. Challenges remain limited because most of the integration part or integration work is almost done. Dilution of 1.8%. So overall, we believe it's a win-win situation for the entire bank, that is State Bank of India, including its associates. While Q2 and Q3 will see little tad higher NPAs because of the associate banks, we believe State Bank of India's strong operating matrix will offset those kind of challenges. Coming back to the quarterly performance, we continue to like State Bank of India primarily because the proactive NPA management, they always tend to front load the stress and take huge provisioning hit. So this time around, if you see the NPA number or gross NPA number was barely moved up, not a major or no undue worries as such on the asset quality front of State Bank of India. We believe that when macros are turning around and revival in economies round the corner, State Bank of India with its associate banks stands at an inflection point. The credit guidance by the management stands very strong. 13 to 14% credit growth is expected by FY17 end. Despite the tough macro challenges, is a very commendable positive outlook. Credit cost or provisioning cost, that is cost which the bank incurs on the NPAs or on the bad loans, will stabilize at around 1.8%, which is less than 2% number. So any number on credit cost which is less than 2% looks pretty good. So asset quality worries almost priced in, at least at the parent bank level. Margins guidance also stands very optimistic. So credit growth outlook quite optimistic. Improving asset quality good. Merger benefits to further strengthen the balance sheet. So all in all, we SBI actually looks stronger. Uh, there will be definitely a change in the management at the top level. Arundhati Bhattacharya ends her tenure in September, so there will be a change of management. However, we believe change of management is a very will have very temporal effect on the entire good structural story of State Bank of India. So that doesn't worry us. Associate merger, like I mentioned, except for 2 quarters ahead, it's only going to turn positive by the end of FY17, given the smooth transitioning that is happening. So all in all, we believe the structural story of State Bank of India looks quite upbeat. The strong legacy will be maintained by the bank. So operating matrix, I repeat, stands very strong, has one of the strongest liability franchise. Post the associates merger, it will have one of the best banking network, branch network. Asset quality of the parent bank is improving. Capital sufficiency, like I mentioned, core equity capital is very strong. The price has run up, so we have increased our multiple for the bank. So currently we are valuing State Bank of India at 2x price to book FY18, and we are doing SOTP valuations. So our target price for State Bank of India is 302. In fact, we believe it will even surpass this target price. State Bank of India at these levels, fundamentally the story is looking very strong. So we are maintaining buy recommendation on the stock. The stock has already run up. So currently it's trading at 1.8x price to book FY18. Thank you.
My name is Abdul. I'm a technical analyst at KR Choksi. On Friday, Nifty closed at 86,666.90, minus 6 point down. I said earlier, we were saying 8620 is a crucial level. After giving a closing of 8620, market should head towards 8,700 and further down to 8750, even could test 8,800 levels. However, at this point of time where Nifty is struggling at 8,000 level, what we have noticed is Nifty in past 1 month has never given a continuous 2 days positive closing. What I mean to say is you find a day where Nifty has given a 60-80 points closing. The next day we have a negative closing. It's like opening price is greater than the closing price. In such scenario, it tries to negate or it tries to depress the upside momentum and even reduces the positive sentiments. However, staying above 8620 makes the market very prominent, very stable, and it should head far more beyond 8,700 once we have continuous 2 days closing. On the downside, for an intraday scale, 8,600 becomes a support level. On a weekly scale, 8,500, and we could see a major problem only and only if this market breaches 8,400. Till is trading about 8,400, we could see levels more than 8,800. At this point of time, there are no indications in Nifty that we could see some very big trouble going ahead. For the Bank Nifty, closed at 19,414, 61 points up. From last to last webinar, we have been saying 19,150 is a very crucial level. The moment it closes above that, we could see levels of 19,500, further up to 19,700, and this could stretch up to 19,800. Nifty has given 2 days back, has given a closing about 19,150 and has rallied towards 19,500. So for the Bank Nifty, there is no problem. Bank Nifty at this point of time has a very good support at 19,100. If you get a deep towards 19,000, if you get deep towards 19,100, you can surely buy, keep a stop loss of 19,000. At this point of time, where consistently market is on the technical parameters is trading in the overbought region. I would not recommend anybody to have a fresh long position. At this point of time, I would see we could make some bucks in short-term trading. We have given a McLeod 2 days back at 184. I still remain bullish on this script. I see it to head towards 210, even above that. The stop loss, we have given recommendation to keep a stop loss of 173. We hold the same stand. It has closed up at 186, 187. We remain buy on this script. We see levels above 1200 rupees. One more thing is, yesterday we have seen a very good pickup in a script IRB. We have a strong buy on this, but I could not get a entry because the moment it start picking about 222, it went straight up. So if tomorrow or day after, if we get an entry somewhere about 24 or 25, I would flash this call. I see levels of 240 and even above that. Thanks for joining webinar. Sir, Abhishek would like to continue.
Hello friends, thanks for being on Saturday. Abhi result season is likely to be over. Apart from few PSUs, most of the result season is over. We are expecting the result season on an overall basis. अगर आप देखेंगे तो result season में numbers in line with expectation थे, are slightly better than expectation ही थे. Apart from pharma on IT, which अगर आपको हम 6 महीने से उस पर bearish हैं, so उन दो सेक्टर को छोड़ के अगर आप देखेंगे तो मोस्ट ऑफ द सेक्टर्स में नंबर्स ठीक ही थे स्पेशली. और SBI के नंबर्स से आज सबसे बड़ा पॉजिटिव ये हुआ था कि लाइक द नंबर NPAs वर मच लोअर देन द मार्केट एक्सपेक्टेशन. तो अगर आप हमारे वीकली बाई वीकली कॉन कॉल पे अगर आप आ रहे हैं तो PSU बैंक्स अगर आपको याद हो तो हम काफ़ी टाइम से रिकमेंड कर रहे हैं, मेटल्स काफ़ी टाइम से रिकमेंड करना है. अगर आप देखेंगे छोटे मेटल स्टॉक्स लाइक मुकुंद लिमिटेड, मैंने यहाँ पे बात की थी, कंपनी लाइक सनफ्लैग आयरन, वो सब 50 से 100% का उस लेवल से बढ़ा है. सतवाना इस्पात. तो मेंटेन मेरा यही व्यू है कि अगर अभी भी रैली को कंटिन्यू करना है तो नए सेक्टर विल इवॉल्व. वी थिंक इज likely to do well in the PSU banking space. PSU बैंकिंग में आफ्टर दिस करेक्शन बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा लुक्स वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग. और आज सबसे बड़ा पॉजिटिव ये हुआ है कि अभी हमने जो मर्जर रेशियो देखा था उस मर्जर SBI का, उसमें जो छोटे बैंक से उनको उनकी रियलिस्टिक रादर देन नॉमिनल बुक वैल्यू की बजाय रियल बुक वैल्यू पे उसका वैल्यू किया है. तो आज की तारीख में सबसे बड़ा कंसर्न ही यही था कि PSU बैंकिंग में बड़े बैंकों के साथ टियर 2 बैंक्स लाइक बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा, PNB, यूनियन बैंक, उनके साथ कंसर्न ही सबसे बड़ा ये था कि अगर भाई लॉसेस होंगे तो कितने बड़े होंगे, और अगर वो छोटे बैंकों के साथ मर्जर हुआ तो काफी उनके लिए नेगेटिव हो सकता था. बट गवर्नमेंट ने rather than taking a nominal book value, they have taken real book value. वो एक काफी पॉजिटिव है. और कल आप देखेंगे अगर SBI में बढ़त थी तो साथ में बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा में भी काफी अच्छी बढ़त देखी गई है. बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा भी 3 से 4% ऊपर था कल. और ट्रेडर्स और इन्वेस्टर्स को हमने एक अच्छी अपॉर्चुनिटी, कल मैंने सुबह भी बोला था कि लाइक इट कैन बी अ गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी टू एक्यूमुलेट बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा. एंड मई 2017 जैसा कि मेरा व्यू है, आप देखेंगे कि PSU बैंकिंग में द रिकवरीज विल बी हायर देन लॉसेस. सो एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम PSU बैंकिंग शुड बी देयर इन योर पोर्टफोलियो. एनी वीकनेस अगर आपको दिखता है टियर 2 बैंकिंग में, लाइक PNB हम 75 रुपीज के आसपास से रिकमेंड कर रहे हैं. इट वेंट अप टू 137, 140 और लेवल, और उसके बाद वापस 110 के आसपास आया था, 115, और वापस रिकवरी देखी गई है. PNB अगर वापस आपको 110, 115 के आसपास मिलता है तो इट कैन बी अ वेरी गुड अपॉर्चुनिटी. फिर मैं दूसरे सेक्टर्स में बात करूंगा. टाटा स्टील में अभी हम देख रहे हैं काफी अच्छा एक्शन. देर आर अभी ऐसा न्यूज है कि टालबोट के लिए जर्मन कंपनी थाइसन कप ने ऑलरेडी इसको फाइनलाइज करने वाले हैं, सो विच कैन बी ए पॉजिटिव फॉर द कंपनी। टाटा स्टील, अगर आप कोई हमारे मॉडल पोर्टफोलियो और यंग 25 पोर्टफोलियो कर रहा है तो हमने उस पर टाटा स्टील को 212 रुपए के आसपास में रेकमेंड किया था 18, आज वो स्टॉक 400 के आसपास है। सेम थिंग विद जेएसडब्ल्यू स्टील ऑल्सो। अभी हमने रिलेटिव बेस में टाटा स्टील की जगह ऐड किया है सेल को। रीजन यही है सिर्फ रिलेटिव वैल्यूएशन में। मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि नेक्स्ट 6 से महीने से 1 साल के बीच में सेल is going to be a major differentiator going forward. अगर आप देख रहे हैं तो लॉट ऑफ स्मॉल एसेट, जो आज स्टील में अगर आप देखेंगे तो काफी सारी एसेट सेल पे है राइट नाउ, और गवर्नमेंट और थ्रो अवे वैल्यूएशन पे अवेलेबल है। इलेक्ट्रो स्टील इज एक कंपनी है जिसको आज लास्ट वीक न्यूज था कि सेल में टेक ओवर, तो अगर वो होता है तो इट कैन बी अ बिग पॉजिटिव फॉर ओवरऑल। दे आर बाइंग द एसेट एट द लोअर एंड ऑफ साइकिल। तो आज जो एसेट मेरे को आज सेटअप करने में 20,000 करोड़ लगा, वो मेरे को अगर 10,000 करोड़ में या 8,000 करोड़ में 6,000 करोड़ में मिल रहा है, मार्केट कैप तो खैर 900 करोड़ ही है, डेट को मिला के मैं आपको कैलकुलेट कर रहा हूँ, तो इट कैन बी अ बिग पॉजिटिव फॉर द कंपनीज। सो मेरा व्यू यही है कि सेल एक स्टॉक जो है वो आपको शुड बी देयर इन योर पोर्टफोलियो विद नेक्स्ट 3 months, 6 months, 1 year kind of, and we may see a substantial gain from current level. लेट्स टॉक अबाउट द अभी मार्केट में और तीसरा सेक्टर जो अभी हम काफी पॉजिटिव थे इज शुगर। शुगर में हमने करेक्शन भी देखा है, और शुगर में इफ यू रिमेंबर लाइक मेरे जून में मैंने बोला था कि लाइक अब थोड़ा मूवमेंट जो है वो लार्ज कैप की तरफ ज्यादा रहना चाहिए। अभी वापस से लार्ज कैप आप देखेंगे, स्मॉल कैप में जो था लाइक उगर शुगर वगैरह में करेक्शन काफी आया है। तो अगर आप ट्रेडिंग के लिए कर रहे हैं तो आप उगर शुगर, अपर गैंगेज और ये सब रख सकते हैं। पोर्टफोलियो के लिए मेंटेन पॉजिटिव व्यू ऑन अ बेटर साइड एज ईआईडी पैरी, बड़े प्लेयर्स के साथ रहे तो ज्यादा बेहतर होगा। एक सेक्टर जो काफी इंटरेस्टिंग लग रहा है अभी, लाइक मैं स्टॉक में काफी, मैंने आपको बोला था जैन इरिगेशन जो स्टॉक है, अगर आप इस क्वार्टर के नंबर देखेंगे मार्जिन में कंपनी ने काफी अच्छा दिया, और सबसे अच्छी बात थी कि जो गाइडेंस दिए है मैनेजमेंट ने वो काफी अच्छी दी है। देव सेट कि यहाँ भाई they'll be growing by 16 से 18% rather than 12% जो उन्होंने मैनेजमेंट में बोला था। प्लस द मार्जिन में भी मैनेजमेंट ने बोला है कि वो 15% ऊपर का मार्जिन करेंगे, which is huge positive for a player like जैन इरिगेशन। सो मेरे को लगता है जैन इरिगेशन अगर आपको 70 से 80 के बीच में should be accumulated, मेरे को 120 तक का प्राइस इस स्टॉक में आपको एटलीस्ट मार्च 2017 तक लगता है। एक और कंपनी पैकेजिंग स्पेस में है, हमने स्टॉक को 165 के आसपास रिकमेंड किया था, अगेन अभी 225 के 30 के आसपास। यूफ्लेक्स लिमिटेड, अगर आप इस कंपनी को देखेंगे इंडिया में आज की तारीख में दे आर अवेलेबल अक्रॉस द वैल्यू चेन। सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज इनका यह है कि दे आर नॉट ओनली इन B2B, दे आर इन B2C ऑल्सो, बिजनेस टू कंज्यूमर। सो इस साल FY16 के नंबर देखेंगे, डिस्पाइट क्रूड का लोअर होने के बावजूद, बिकॉज क्रूड का डायरेक्टली इंपैक्ट है, इनके टॉप लाइन पे इंपैक्ट आता है, तो टॉप लाइन ज्यादा ग्रोथ नहीं की है, बट ईबिटा लास्ट 3 साल में टॉप लाइन ग्रोथ लेट्स से 10% भी नहीं होगा, लेकिन जो ईबिटा ग्रोथ है विच इज 30% CAGR। सो अगर आपको अपने पोर्टफोलियो में भी देखना है तो 47-48 रुपीज का इनका ट्रेलिंग EPS है। ये क्वार्टर में भी आप देखेंगे दूसरे प्लेयर्स लाइक उतामाकी, कॉस्मो फिल्म्स, सबके नंबर खराब आए, जबकि आप रिलेटिवली वीकर आए। इस कंपनी के नंबर काफी बेहतर रहे। तो ये स्टॉक मेरे को लगता है अगर FY, और सबसे बड़ा ट्रिगर आज कंपनी का जो आएगा वो नेक्स्ट ईयर इनका लिक्विड पैकेजिंग प्लांट, that plant is going to take company into next level। जो आज कंपनी का मार्जिन 13-14% का है, will move to 17 से 18% आफ्टर दिस मार्जिन, जब ये फुल कैपेसिटी पे करेगा। क्योंकि इस प्रोडक्ट सेगमेंट में आज की तारीख में आप कहीं पे भी देखेंगे 90% मार्केट शेयर और 99% to 100% ऑफिशियल मार्केट शेयर इज विद टेट्रा पैक ऑल्सो, लिक्विड पैकेजिंग में और कोई कंपनी है नहीं। ये दूसरी कंपनी होगी इंडिया में जो टेट्रा लिक्विड पैकेजिंग में एंटर करेगी, और ये एक बहुत बड़ा मूवमेंट रहेगा फॉर एन इंडियन कंपनी टू गेट इनटू दिस स्पेस। मेरे को लगता है कि 2019 एंड तक या 20 में जब फुल्ली ऑपरेशनल हो जाएगा तो 1200 करोड़ करीब का टॉप लाइन दिस कंपनी विल डू, एटलीस्ट 1200 से 1400 करोड़, और इसमें 30% का ईबिटा मार्जिन है। सो 400 करोड़ करीब का ईबिटा इस लेवल पे कंपनी में बढ़ेगा। आज आप सोच सकते हैं कि कंपनी इज राइट नाउ अवेलेबल एट मार्केट सब 1000 करोड़, विच इज इट्स ए ह्यूज अपॉर्चुनिटी फॉर दिस कंपनी गोइंग फॉरवर्ड। इसके अलावा मेरे को तो अगर आप अपने क्लाइंट्स को भी बोलिए, आप स्टार्ट एक्यूमुलेटिंग द शेयर्स राइट नाउ। मैंने ये कंपनी थोड़ा आपको एक्यूमुलेट करना पड़ेगा बिकॉज मार्केट हैज मूव्ड अप सब्सटेंशियली इन द लास्ट फ्यू डेज। तो जो ट्रिगर्स हैं वो आगे जाके आएंगे, बट अपॉर्चुनिटी विल स्टार्ट कमिंग इन फ्रॉम दिस क्वार्टर ओनली। तो अगर आप सपोज यू वांट टू बाय 1000 शेयर्स, तो 500 शेयर आप अपने पोर्टफोलियो में अभी ले सकते हैं और 250, 100, 200 करके आप नीचे के लेवल पे बाय कर सकते हैं। इसके अलावा फार्मा में एक कंपनी है पेनिशिया बायोटेक लिमिटेड। अगर आप देखेंगे ये कंपनी के नंबर्स खराब आए हैं और स्टॉक हैज 140 130 के आसपास से 108 105 के आसपास आ गया है राइट नाउ। मेरा व्यू ये है कि अगर इसका कंपनी का वैक्सीन का इनका अप्रूवल एक्सपेक्टेड है, न्यू लॉन्च है जो 3rd क्वार्टर में होगा, अगर वो होता है तो कंपनी के लिए जो आज मार्जिन 8 से 10% है, इवेंचुअली मूव टू 25 से 27% के बीच में, और इट कैन बी ए बिग ट्रिगर फॉर द कंपनी। पर ये स्टॉक को मैं आप हाई रिस्क हाई गेन काइंड ऑफ कैटेगरी में डाल सकता हूँ। तो उन्हीं इन्वेस्टर्स के लिए एक्यूमुलेट रिकमेंडेड है जिनके पास रिस्क टेकिंग एबिलिटी हो। इसके अलावा अगर आपको अपने पोर्टफोलियो में अगर एट एनी पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम यू वांट टू ऐड एनी स्टॉक आल्सो, तो आप स्टॉक को स्लोली एक्वायर कीजिए रादर देन बिल्डिंग अ पोर्टफोलियो इन लॉन्गर टर्म। मार्केट में इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर में एक कंपनी वी बीन पॉजिटिव इज KNR कंस्ट्रक्शन। अगर आप देखेंगे लास्ट क्वार्टर में नंबर्स भी अच्छे आए हैं और पूरा सेक्टर खराब होने के बाद भी दिस इज वन कंपनी विच इज मेकिंग 52 वीक हाई। और इंफ्रा में जिस हिसाब से गवर्नमेंट का पुश है, अभी मेरे को लगता है नेक्स्ट राउंड ऑफ रैली विल कम फ्रॉम द सीमेंट सेक्टर और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर। सीमेंट में ऑलरेडी रैली हो चुका है कई स्टॉक्स में, बट स्मॉल कैप में सीमेंट में एक कंपनी है जिसको हम काफी टाइम से रेकमेंड कर रहे हैं, सागर सीमेंट। ये कंपनी आंध्र प्रदेश बेस्ड कंपनी है। आंध्र प्रदेश में अगर आज की तारीख में देखेंगे तो आंध्रा और तेलंगाना में मिलके 50,000 करोड़ प्लस के इन्वेस्टमेंट्स होने बाकी है। और इसके अलावा जो अनदर 50,000 करोड़ से 90,000 करोड़ की सीमेंट डिमांड विल कम फ्रॉम द न्यू स्टेट कैपिटल जो अमरावती करके आई है आंध्रा की, उससे आएगा। और ये कंपनी ने आज की तारीख में अपना कैपेसिटी 4.2 मिलियन मेट्रिक टन किया है। और मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि एट सम पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम इस इंडस्ट्री में अगर डिमांड थोड़ी इंप्रूव होती है, बिकॉज आज की तारीख में आंध्रा में सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज क्या है, द यूटिलाइजेशन लेवल इज लेस देन 50%। तो अगर मेरे को डिमांड भी अगर मेरी 20% भी ग्रोथ होती है तो मेरे को नेक्स्ट 2 से 3 साल तक के लिए कोई केपेक्स करने की रिक्वायरमेंट नहीं है। सो एफिशिएंसी लेवल विल इंक्रीज। इसके अलावा रेलवे स्लाइडिंग का जो इम्पैक्ट है वो से उनको मार्जिन पे 200 से 300 बिप्स का इम्पैक्ट आएगा। कंपनी ने बीमा सीमेंट करके जो आंध्र प्रदेश का काफी मेजर ब्रांड था, इससे 1 मिलियन मेट्रिक टन एडिशनल कैपेसिटी उसको अक्वायर किया है और जो एक्विजिशन का बेनिफिट विल सी दिस ईयर ऑनवर्ड्स। और आज हम बात कर रहे हैं आंध्र प्रदेश में ही, तो आंध्र प्रदेश में अगर आप सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज क्या है, आंध्र प्रदेश में लाइमस्टोन की अवेलेबिलिटी है। तो अगर आप अपार्ट फ्रॉम आप साउथ में देखेंगे 90% लाइमस्टोन इज इजीली अवेलेबल इन आंध्र प्रदेश। तो ये स्टॉक मेरे को काफी इंटरेस्टिंग लगता है इस प्राइस पे। जनरली आई सी सितंबर, अगर आप हिस्टोरिकली देखेंगे पिछले 10 साल में 8 साल में 10 में से 8 साल सीमेंट स्टॉक्स ने अच्छा रिटर्न दिया है इन सितंबर, इफ यू गो फॉर हिस्टोरिकल एविडेंस। के अलावा लाइक PSU बैंकिंग जो मैं ऑलरेडी बोल चुका हूँ, आप पीएसयू बैंकिंग में बैंक ऑफ बड़ौदा, यूनियन बैंक, ओबीसी, बैंक ऑफ इंडिया, जो टियर 2 बैंक्स हैं, पीएनबी विल रिमेन माय पिक। आईडीबीआई पे आप ध्यान रखिए, मेरे को ऐसा लगता है कि नाउ दिस कंपनी का अगर आप देखेंगे, आईडीबीआई एक्ट में चेंजेस आई एम एक्सपेक्टिंग इन नेक्स्ट क्वार्टर। अगर वो होता है तो आईडीबीआई के लिए बिग पॉजिटिव होगा, which will lead to privatization of IDBI going forward. So this stock can give you a multi-fold return with 65, 70. You accumulate the stock, and this will be the first PSU bank which will be the government will reduce its holding. If you remember earlier, ICICI and Axis used to be pseudo government bank. एंड लास्ट 10 years फ्रॉम जब वो सूडो, जैसे जैसे गवर्नमेंट अपनी होल्डिंग कम करती गई, आज आईसीआईसीआई और एक्सिस के आप प्रेजेंस देख सकते हैं। तो सेम आईडीबीआई बैंक में भी उसी तरह की पोटेंशियल आप आगे जाके देख सकते हैं। इसके अलावा बैंकिंग में आज श्वेता बात की है, इसके अलावा मेरे को बैंकिंग में हमारा व्यू मेनली ऑन पीएसयू बैंक ही था। फार्मा में सिप्ला जरूर हमने रिकमेंड किया था जब नंबर्स खराब आए थे, तो अगेन आपको 520-525 के आसपास मिलता है। अगर आप इनका सबसे बड़ा एडवांटेज क्या है कि इनका इनहेलर पोर्टफोलियो जो है वो नेक्स्ट ईयर से विल स्टार्ट गेटिंग इनटू द पिक्चर। सो मेरा व्यू यही है कि अगर आप इनहेलर पोर्टफोलियो विच इज गोइंग टू बी द बिग ट्रिगर, आज वन ऑफ द रीजन व्हाई सिप्ला इज अंडर परफॉर्म, बिकॉज सिप्ला के डिलेज यूरोप में जो डिलेज थे वो काफी सारे हुए थे और उसी कारण से इनका इम्पैक्ट आया था नंबर्स पे। तो अगर आप रिलेटिव में देखेंगे लास्ट 3 साल में फार्मा रैली में सिप्ला ने हार्डली कुछ परफॉर्म किया है, बट नेक्स्ट रैली में फार्मा में हालांकि मेरा जो रैली आएगी इट विल बी रादर देन सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक, स्टॉक स्पेसिफिक रहेगी। तो सिप्ला एंड ग्लेनमार्क आर 2 फार्मा कंपनीज व्हिच लुक वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग and should be in your portfolio for a longer period of time. डेनमार्क यहाँ पे हिमांशु ने 750-768 लेवल पे रेकमेंड भी किया था, तो यही मेरा व्यू है कि आप इसको एक्यूमुलेट कीजिए। मेरे को 1000 प्लस प्राइस लगता है जब इसका मल्टी ब्लॉकबस्टर ड्रग विज़र लॉन्च होगा दिसंबर में। हालांकि द रियल इम्पैक्ट विल कम फ्रॉम Q4 ऑनवर्ड्स। So these are the 2 stocks in pharma we like it. That's it from my side. आपके पास कुछ भी queries हो तो आप पिनाक या मुझे आप बात कर सकते हैं। ये डिस्क्लेमर है अगर आप चाहें तो, यानी कि इसका मानना यही है कि अगर जो भी स्टॉक्स ने किया है it's already there, we don't hold any position in the stock. So इस डिस्क्लेमर के साथ मैं ये खत्म करता हूँ। That's it from my side. Thank you.